Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm going to try to attempt to explain this diagram the best I can. Disclaimer, I'm not an Islamic scholar, all right? I'm just a student and I'm studying, and so bear with me, all right? So this diagram is showing an Islamic model of the soul, the nafs, and how it interacts with Allah, dunya, the world, and shaitan, all right? So let me break it down simply. And if I mispronounce any of these words, please forgive me. I don't know how to say everything, right? I'm trying to. So the main parts of the soul, you have the ruh, which is your spirit. It's pure, created by Allah, naturally inclined to do good, all right? Then you have the qalb, which is your heart, the spiritual center, and can be inclined towards good or evil, right? So it can go up or down. Then you have your alaq, number 3, which is your intellect, your mind, and it helps with reasoning and making choices. And then number 4, you have the nafs itself, which is the self / your ego. And this is like your desires, your impulses. This can also rise and fall. Okay, so now let's get into the types and stages of the nafs. So we're going to talk about 3 types. Nafs al-mu'minina, nafs al-lawama, and nafs al-amra bisu. Nafs al-mu'mina is the peaceful soul. That's when you're content with the law and you're at rest. So this is the good state. This is where you want to be. This is the objective for everybody, every believer. Then you have nafs al-lawama, which is the self-reproaching soul, struggles with sin, feels guilt, and tries to improve. And this is where a lot of people are. And this, everyone deals with this. So, and then you have the nafs al-amra bisu, which is the commanding soul and urges towards evil and desires. So this is when you're like so lost, your heart is blackened almost, and you're just going down, right? Down on a diagram. So nafs, the first one is up on the diagram. The second one is kind of like you're going up and down, battling. And the third one is you're going completely down, negative. All right. So let's talk about some influences. So let's talk about going up from above towards Allah and Akhirah, right? So you have your fitrah, which is your natural purity of the soul. Your fitrah is like your natural inclinations, right? And everyone's fitrah, we kind of believe, is that it's pretty much good. You're born pure, and you have natural inclinations to believe in God. You believe there's a creator. It makes sense to people naturally. It makes sense that to be kind to others and to share and these kinds of things. That's your natural inclination. That's your fitrah, right? You have a purity of the soul. And then you have tazakiyat an-nafs. So that's the purification of a soul through worship, remembrance, and good deeds. So that's when you do good things, your soul is becoming purified. Then you have munjiyat, which is virtues that save. So honesty, patience, etc. These are virtues that you have. Akhlaq, right? So your akhlaq is like good character. Tahlib al-akhlaq. Excuse me if I'm saying it wrong. Refining good character, right? It's like good manners and things like that, and being just, kind of. Then you have, now we're going to talk about what's going downwards towards dunya and shaitan. You have ghafla, heedlessness, forgetfulness of Allah. So this is when you kind of live your life not God conscious or hardly conscious at all, just kind of going through the motions, doing whatever, like a leaf in the wind. Whatever blows you one way, you're blowing this way, and you just kind of go that way. That's what heedlessness and forgetfulness, not thinking about God at all throughout your life. Muhlikat, destructive traits. So that's like ego. Your ego, when it's like you have a prideful ego, you have envy, you're jealous of others, or if you're greedy, right? That's bringing you down. Then you have the dunya itself. And the dunya is just worldly distractions, and that could be like literally possessions, materialism, friendships, relationships that are just kind of distractions. Anything that operates as a worldly distraction. Then you have shaitan itself. Shaitan, whispers, temptations. So that's when you have negative inclinations. And we believe this is from from shaitan. This is literally like a bad influence, the waswas, right? To do something bad, to steal someone's money if it's when they're not looking, or to look at something you're not supposed to, not lowering your gaze, things like that. And so that's what brings you down. And then we're going to talk about, so now let's go into the jihad al nafs, right? The struggle of the nafs. This is the struggle with the self. So the inner struggle to fight against bad desires and push towards the purification. So this is when you're kind of in that in-between stage. You're like a nafs al-lawama. Say you go through that, you're in that phase where you're self-reproaching, you're struggling with sin, you feel guilt, and then you try to improve. Nafs al-lawama. So if you're in that phase, if you're in that kind of nafs, or stage of nafs, then you will struggle to push towards the nafs al-mu'mina. So what you end up doing is experiencing the jihad of nafs, the inner struggle to fight towards purification. So, and there's a lot more we can get into, but so I'll just get into it. So in simple terms, your soul is always being pulled in two directions. Upwards towards Allah, goodness and peace. Downwards towards dunya, desires and shaitan. And then you have the heart, which is the qalb in Arabic. The heart, the mind, alaq in Arabic. These are what are used to regulate or control the nafs. And then you can purify your nafs through the purification process, tazakiyah, and jihad of nafs, the struggle. So doing good deeds like praying, remembering, helping others, giving charity, etc., purifies you. And then just resisting the jihad of nafs, the inner struggle, resisting your lower desires, resisting evil and all that. That is how the soul can rise to a level of peace and nearness to Allah. So key insights for this. This diagram shows that Islam views the human soul as a battleground between higher spiritual nature and lower desires. And our task is to train the soul to rise upwards through remembrance, discipline, and good character. All right. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and tell me what you think. I'm not a scholar. I'm sorry if I butchered some of these words, but I just wanted to try to explain this diagram the best I can. Let me know what your thoughts are. If I said anything wrong, please forgive me, and we can maybe I'll try to correct it and we talk about it. All right, thank you. Peace.